electric. It's about 3 megawatt. We are going to hire maybe up to 5 local people to support this business. But moreover, we for site preparation, we need to hire local contractors. In any case, we will pay taxes. We will pay use taxes or sale taxes. It's we will pay property taxes. So, and you should understand that this building is very this business is very changeable. The company which work in this type of business will need to change their equipment every time during 5-6 years. So every 5-6 years, even from our side, small side, not such big side, city will have taxes about $1 million in the existing price, even more. So it's a repeatable process, and we will pay property taxes about 1% of the total price. So I don't see any reason to prohibit us from doing this business, because it's only support city, support local power system, help maintain local power rates lower for residents. Why not?
There are a number of issues that I'm sure you've read about yourself relative to the environment. We've gotten lots of letters, lots of letters or emails, areas that near your spot that's going to be developing and looking a little bit different. The noise is going to be quite high. The environmental pollution, we've heard all kinds of things. So we have to take it all into account, everything. We understand where you're coming from. We've heard you say this before, and we thank you for trying to start a business. But according to the original agreement of the number of amps that was approved, we're still going along with that. So you can do what you can right now with the amps that have been approved by the planning board here.
Yeah.
As far as the other parts of the regulations, we are not secure with those. We just can't go ahead and say, oh yes, anybody come in here and do this. We need to fine tune what is better for our community.
I agree with you. About the noise level, I am sure that there is a lot of regulation for industrial building and for different type of buildings which establish a noise level from the equipment. And for example, I understand that if if another company came to your city and installed, for example, containers, install equipment with a higher level of noise, yep, near the local residents, it's really bad for residents. But you can buy a knife for cutting bread or kill people, so it's the same knife.
You're comparing apples to oranges right now. Sorry, you're comparing apples to oranges. There are other aspects to it, not only this noise, but there are regulations that we have been looking into for a while. We still have to get this thing done right for our community. So again, we'll see what happens tonight with whatever emotions people bring up here.
Yeah. And there are also issues that, as we continue to hear about New York State's conservation law, whatever that's called, that has to be that's being looked into by MED in regards to the amount of power and where the power is going, and all what needs to change in regards to coal and other fossil fuels, and that's going to be reduced, and we have to make sure we're safe in regards to the amount of power that we have for our community.
And some folks who have approached me have made some very good points. They've said, not knowing the limit of the power that we have a reduced price right now in Massena, if there's a number of businesses that all of a sudden require more power, where is that going to put us on the scale? So that, are we going to be above a certain point where we're going to have to go open market all the time and pay higher prices? Very good, smart things people have approached me about, very good ideas. So these are all things we're talking about.
I understand, I completely understand concern of communities concerned about this type of business. Completely understand. But before we bought this building, we first of all connected to the Massena Electric and asked them, how many power they can give us without affecting our local community, without affecting our price and without so they can hold local rates lower and we got answers that can get us 3 megawatt without any affection on the local prices. And I got a letter from Andrew McMahon about a week ago that in this letter he confirmed that our business really doesn't affect on prices. And
As long as it's not over 300 amps, that's correct.
no, it's about 500 kVAs, which we asked it as a temporary solution, not 300 amps. It's about more. They wrote me that total consumption, peak consumption of all Massena is about 50 megawatt. So our 500 kVA completely doesn't affect on this total consumption, and even will help Massena Electric keep local rates lower, because our consumption is a constant consumption. Yeah? So we are going to pay a lot of money for this power. It's and Massena Electric can use this money to repair, to maintain local power networks.
Okay, so you're proving to me we need certainly have to have more conversation with our electric company and along with all the other things we're looking into right now. Thank you very much, Sergey. Anybody else like to speak right now? Anybody else? Okay, anybody else have any comments? Okay, could I have a motion to close the public hearing, please? Deb?
Second.
And second. Okay. All right, going over to announcements. Spring cleanup, Frank?
Just so the board knows, our spring cleanup will start next week. They'll start on the 2nd of May and go through the 31st. Obviously, we're on the voucher system. We've been for the last 3 years. Town of Massena residents can either come to the town hall or call and you can pick up your vouchers. The vouchers are here, your name's put on them, and you have to turn those in when you go to the transfer station when you bring up your
So those of us who live in the village got those in there.
yeah, we do a little differently.
That's the village.
And you were allowed to pick up 2 at a time. If you want a third one, you have to come back. So, obviously, with that package, we try to let everybody know there's a little brochure that's from the transfer station that talks about stuff that they accept all year round, like electronics, your washers, your refrigerators. They don't charge you, so that's something they can bring up yearly. And then there's a list of things that we accept to pay for as a town of Massena. And it's being advertised on the radio, the Observer, North Country Now, and it's on our website. We've had, the last 3 years, we've had a lot of compliments. It's gone well versus traveling the sides of the road. So.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Frank. The Honorable Rita Curran, legislator for St. Louis County, would you like to share some updates with us?
Yes, we put out in, we put out in resolution form the other night, what we had allocated for the ARPA funds, $20.9 million, so I just wanted to kind of share some of that with you. We have $5 million for the emergency communication system, $4 million for economic development, tourism, $3 million for broadband development and installation, $3 million for utilities, which will be likely matching to towns and villages. Like if you need to spend, we would give, listen to that proposal, it would be matching. $5 million for county capital projects, things we need to fix anyways, that won't raise the tax levy to do so. $0.9 million for the ash tree removal and reforestation, because we're going to have to do that anyways. And a tree that falls in the road is a problem. We also put money aside for child care provider training, $200,000, EMT training, $100,000, CDL licensure training, $287,000, Cornell Cooperative Extension, $50,000, $300,000 to the Clifton Fine Hospital because we still need them to be the critical care access hospital in that section. There's nothing else up there. And then we have money that we put aside for an airboat. We have a lot of water. In the summertime, a lot of our things that go on are out on the St. Lawrence. But all year long, we have ponds and all that kind of stuff that we need to be able to service. And our closest airboats are either on the reservation, having somebody bring them up, and from Alex Bay. So we proposed for the county to have one so that all the different agencies can be trained and have crews that could utilize this boat. All we would have to do is bring it. We've had a number of things that have happened that we could have used an airboat sooner. So we put money towards that. We had heard a lot of people who wanted bonuses for county employees out of the ARPA money. That's probably not gonna go anywhere just because there's things we need to pay for that benefit everybody. They've come across with asking us to reduce the taxation on gas and fuel, which would cut the county sales tax by about $10 million a year, which would trickle down to cutting the towns and villages sales tax. So I'm not gonna vote for that. Anything that's gonna crush your budget wouldn't interest me. So that's what we've been up to.
Rita, have you guys considered putting some money away in a depreciation fund for future needs for capital and any other things? Or
We just met our budgetary recommendations from the comptroller for the state for what we're supposed to have. We have extra money out of that. We can't put money out of ARPA away for potential things. It has to be used a certain way.
so you can use it that way, take the money out of here and put it in there.
Yeah, we will have money to save. There are people who are worried that sales tax will plummet coming soon because of the fact that we're not getting a lot of federal money in terms of checks mailed to people. So they feel, maybe sales tax will take this big dip. But I think that sales tax has been pretty steady. We're seeing the first parts of sales tax going right from the comptroller's office to Ogdensburg direct payment. So we'll know pretty soon what the difference will be there, if they actually are pulling more money that way or not. And there was some interest in having us put together a local law saying that we would always keep the towns and the villages the same way that they are now. We have no reason to change it. Eric will tell you, we can't do anything in terms of a local law that encumbers future boards, just like you can't. So we can't do that, but I will never vote to change what you get unless it goes up. So, we try to watch your budgets too, and I think the more people who move here, the more houses that go from being owned by the county and properties that are owned now by actual people who are paying taxes, I think that's better for everybody. So hopefully this will be good. And we have 3 years to spend this money, so it's allocated, but we're not just gonna spit it all out there at once. It'll be a gradual build on the infrastructure that we need.
Anybody have any questions for Rita?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Okay. Frank D'Agostino, tell us about the.
On the
inspection here.
March 30th, the FAA performed a Part 139 certification inspection of the Massena International Airport. They found 9 minor discrepancies. All discrepancies have been addressed as of April 5th. And we have received a closeout letter from the FAA that all discrepancies have been addressed and closed, so no fines will be issued. Dated April 8th. The inspector was very complimentary of our airport and how it's run and what gets done with the group of people that we have there. He's really kind of in awe of what they get accomplished and what they keep their hands on. So every year we have an inspection, they comment on how well the airport is run and taken care of. So
Nice to hear.
good job by
Nice
those guys.
Yeah.
Some good news.
Yes. Thank you, Fred. Approval of the minutes of March 16th. Pat had first, second,
I'll second
and I'll approve it. Aye. Okay. All right, local law extending the cryptocurrency moratorium. Suggestions been made to do it through November. How do you all feel about that?
I'm surprised you were saying, we've been talking about.
I know,
so
yeah, I know.
I think it's all right.
So if we tackle the regulations
Yes.
before then, we certainly
That
could
would be
adopt
great.
it before November.
Yes, yeah.
But that just gives us the time to make
Yeah,
sure it's done.
and hopefully by then New York State will respond to us more vigorously with some of those regulations that I know they're working on too, because they're concerned as well. Anybody else? Ethan?
I agree. I would like to see him to get going on his business, but if it takes making sure everything's in the right place before we go, I definitely want to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so I leave the motion then.
I'll make a motion.
Debbie, and second. Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Okay, approving 2 summer hires for the highway department.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, that was Pat,
I'll second.
second by Deb. All in favor?
Aye.
Adrian, okay. Authorizing grant writing services contract with Linda McQuinn.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Deb, and a second.
I'll second
Adrian, all in favor?
it. Aye.
Okay. And I want to thank Linda for stepping up to help us with the grant writing.
Absolutely.
She's already stepped up and done a lot of work for us, and it makes us feel much more comfortable, let's put it that way. Okay, ratifying the date change for the number 4 warrant. You want to address that?
Well, since we had the board meeting a week later, we still needed to pay our bills on the 20th. So we wouldn't have any late fees or anything like that. So we ended up paying them for the 20th to the 21st. And then we approved today.
We're just formalizing it.
Yeah, formalized.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Pat,
I'll second.
and Deb, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorizing a letter of support for the Salvation Army canteen truck. They are working on a major grant to bring in a very expensive canteen truck to help out again, to help in emergency, help out with food, clothing, etc. And they're just wanting letters of support from all of the communities, so we have written one for them. And we just need a motion to accept it. You've all seen a copy of it.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Pat,
I'll second it.
Adrian, second, all in favor?
Aye.
We certainly wish them luck. We had a lot of people here will be in need of that. Awarding the runway 523 rehabilitation project to Barrett Paving Materials. Said award pending FAA acceptance of the town's AIP grant application and receipt of federal funding.
Listen to a lot of these, I'll make that motion to accept that. Frank, you're good with it?
Yep. We had 2 bids. The other bid came in at over $10 million.
Ooh. So we have one motion,
I'll second it.
second by Adrian. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Authorizing grant administration services agreement for the ARF testing equipment with CNS engineers in the amount of $5,000.
I'll make the motion.
Pat, second.
I'll second.
Deb, all in favor?
Aye.
Awarding the ARF testing equipment to No Foam Systems. The said award pending FAA acceptance of the town's AIP grant application and receipt of federal funding.
I'll make a motion.
Adrian, second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We've had several meetings at the airport for the leases that have been, this is the year, let's put it that way. And it's been really good. We had lots of meetings out there. Debbie's attended, Pat's attended, I've attended, and seeing what's going on out there and what's happening out there is very, very positive. And thank you, Frank, for all the work you're doing there. Authorizing the 10-year lease, antenna and equipment space lease for space located in 118 at Massena International Airport.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Pat, and second.
You went through a lot of that discussion.
I'll second.
Second, Debbie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Authorizing a $200 donation to Massena Veterans Organizations for the Memorial Day Parade.
I'll make a motion.
Adrian, and second.
I'll second.
Deb, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Urging New York State to honor the tribal state compact agreement with St. Lawrence County and provide withheld payments to remain current in the future. I've written a letter following suit with that, written by the St. Lawrence County as well as the town of Brazier. And I met with Senator Griffo last week, and so we're trying to get back some of that tribal compact money that we've been sorely lacking in that 3 years. Do you have a motion?
Yeah, that was well written, good job. Sue.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Deb in a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Adrian, all in favor?
Did you have a question about this, the fact that they haven't paid for so long, is there any interest accruing on that?
Hey, we're just trying to get what.
I know we're trying to get rid of it, but is there any interest on it?
Oh, I'm sure they're making interest on it.
Should be.
Should be
I
something.
don't think so, but who knows? Okay.
I just couldn't get the money, but if we had interest on it, that would.
That'd be nice. Okay, what is that? Transfers and amendments. What's that? I skipped one? I guess it's not on the sheet, so we have
Oh,
another,
it's $1 million.
another
All
one
the
here.
$2 million.
Okay, so here's the last one I got.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Oh, that was the one, okay. This was added today. Okay. Authorizing the board to approve a $2 million van note through NBT Bank for the East Massena Water Project to cover expenses until the bond money is received. Would you like to clarify what that's about, Brenda?
Yes, so we're waiting on our bond money of the 5.37 million to come through, but we want to be able to pay the invoices that are gonna come through before we get our money. So we have a $2 million grant. It's for 6 months at 1.75% interest. But we will have it paid as soon as we get our bond money. Here, we'll pay off the 2 million. And then we'll only have the one bond.
And how long does it typically take to get that bond money you're talking about?
4 to 5 weeks.
Okay. All right.
So as soon as you get the bills 4 to 5 weeks back, we get the money, then we pay the money.
Correct, we'll pay off the bills.
Sounds good.
Yes, we went through this, I'll make the motion, we accept this.
Okay, Pat, and then second, please.
I'll second it.
Debbie? Okay, do you have that, James? All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Now, transfers and amendments. Who are the ones auditing this one? Adrian? I don't know. In town. Well, Tom's not here, so we need at least your motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and,
I'll second it.
that's not good, yeah. Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The warrants.
Makes a motion.
Adrian, right? Okay, and second,
Second.
Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Brenda, would you like to add anything for the financial reports?
Well, I feel everybody right now in their budgets are doing well. I'm waiting for the first quarter of the sales tax to see where we're at for that. That's one of our ones I'm waiting on.
We should have asked you that up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where's the money?
Yeah.
I think it comes the first part of May.
Okay, yeah, we should have said that.
Yeah.
Any questions specifically for Brenda? Okay. Committee department reports, town highway, Frank?
So do we accept the financial report?
Have we accepted the financial reports? Motion? Yes, no, yes,
No.
okay.
Not the
No, those
financial
are
report,
reports.
no.
Okay.
They're most important.
No,
Just transfers and
just,
warrants.
just other resolutions.
Okay.
We may not like them, but we have to accept what we have. All right, town highway, back to Frank.
The highway department, in March, we went out 10 times, plowed. We worked 198 hours of overtime in March. Totals for the winter. For overtime, we worked 980 hours of overtime. We plowed 58 times, and we purchased 4,100 tons of salt. Obviously, we're switching seasons here, so we removed wings, the front plows, and power washed all plow trucks, performed brake maintenance on plow trucks, installed tarps, repaired Unit 2 pickup truck box, replaced batteries, and repaired 2 coolant leaks. On plow truck 33, plow truck 49, replaced axle seals, bearings, brake drums, brake pads and springs on both rear drive wheels, replaced transmission coolant lines on plow truck 52, service unit 4, Repaired all trailers for New York State inspections that are due in April. Replaced wing cable and shivs in airport plow truck 52. Repaired leaking seal on Ingersoll Rand roller. Worked with the village on sewer line issues on Highland Road. Serviced all mowing equipment, changed oil, grease, replaced blades, and picked up supplies. Plow truck 50 is that fifth wheel. It's using about 2 gallons of coolant every time we run it, so they probably, it's not a leak, it's the EGR valve's probably failed, and basically it's going through the exhaust, burning off. So that's up there. It also has there's a oil line leaking on the turbo. The John Deere backhoe, we had to replace hydraulic line on the boom. We moved the museum artifacts from the Hayden's to Massena Mall storage. Started an office renovation here at the town hall. Built potholes on the town roads. Received a new batwing mower for mowing roadsides. And plow truck 45 replaced both brakes and slack adjusters. Replaced brake chambers on both on left rear side and removed wheels, brake drums, clean brakes, and check brake springs. The airport, boutique airs numbers, in plane 340, in plane 331 for a total of 671. We repaired the Kodiak snow blower, spindle bearing and wheel on right side of blower. They power washed all plow trucks, new plow sanders for pickup trucks. Replaced a broken airline coupler on the ARF truck. Started getting mowing equipment ready. Repaired the lighted windsocks on runway 5 and 27, adjusted reels and lights on runway 27 on left side. Obviously, we talked about the bids for the runway. Received the bids for the, obviously talked about the bids for the testing, foam testing. And we had to, by the end of April, we had to have a plan put together, a draft for UAS unmanned aircraft systems drones response plan. Means if somebody comes to the airport or the drone is at our airport, what do we do? So we due to the FAA by April 30th, 2022. The draft has been sent in for their approval, and once it's approved, we have to incorporate it the AEP Airport Emergency Plan and the ACM Airport Certification Manual, and has to be reviewed with all local law enforcement agencies. So as soon as we get that approved, we'll have to go through that process. We had a pre-construction meeting with TSA, Boutique Airs, and CNS. Obviously, we've got the terminal apron project coming up, which affects, we got to keep the airline running, we got to keep the airport open. So we went through the 4 stages of how that's going to take place. And then we still have the ongoing issue with the lighting issue on east end of taxiway A, and the short taxiways, the lights are still out. Basically, team comes to the electrical subcontractor on the terminal project. They'll repair those lights for us when they're here.
Again, this is tough, we had a bad winter
Yeah.
because of that, the frozen ground.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get down there to fix it?
It was noted in the FAA inspection that the asphalt on taxiway we call east needs to be rehabbed, and the lighting system needs to be updated. So somehow, sometimes the inspector can give us support for the other side of the FAA that really doesn't want to support us, but it helps us get these projects when the inspector says it needs to be done. So that information was sent on to CNS along to the FAA. So, at the library, we have a Hartford steam boiler we began for internal inspection May 12th. No issues at the museum. We have a couple issues at the boiler here at the town hall. It failed an external inspection for a leaking pressure gauge, and also needs to replace the gas regulator valve. This will be done when the boiler shut down for the summer months. We also repaired a.
When will that be?
Not today.
Not today. We also had to repair a water leak down in the police department on the 15th, the holiday. We had to shut the water off to the building, and we repair a leaking 3-inch water line downstairs. Obviously, there's probably been a lot of talk about State Highway 131 bridge is closed. That will be closed through October.
But that's not us, right?
No, that's state, New York State.
That's state that
Yep,
controls
New York
that.
State.
Yeah,
And the East Massena water line project started on April 11th. We're in our 3rd week. Last week, the first week was, they put down 3,700 feet of temporary water line for residents. So as we replace the main water line, they have water. Last week, they put down 1,000 feet of new pipe, and it's progressing well. The weather hasn't been very favorable, a couple of days, but It's going well, and it's finally happened after about 10 years of trying to get it done, so. There's been some issues. We've had it on the radio that the road is closed to local traffic, airport traffic. Local traffic doesn't mean when I'm coming from Malone and I can drive down to North Racket. Local traffic means I live on that road, I can go to my house. So there's been a lot of traffic issues. If somebody ran over the signs, you know, and all that there. So, but it's been advertised on the radio for 2 weeks. It's been in the paper. It's been on our Facebook. It's been on our website. You hear about it all the time, but people don't want to change their habits. So, but it's ongoing. We're working with it. It's, like I say, going well. So
My concern is for the workers out there, if people are not keeping their speeds down.
well, at some point you can call the troopers and they can sit and watch, but obviously the troopers can't be there all the time. You know, so, but, and then we talked about spring cleanup.
Hey Frank, how about the one call I got about, with the water line, keeping the water going?
Oh, there was somebody called Brenda and was concerned because we have temporary water lines running across the top of the ground. It's supposed to get cold the next 2 nights. What they do is they call a bleeder valve. They leave a bleeder valve open so the water continuously flows, so it's not sitting stationary. So if it does drop down to freezing, it won't freeze those lines. They're concerned about having water around. So yeah, we did have a water leak yesterday on North Racket that had to be repaired farther down, so about a half a mile down the road from where they are.
So you hear when I mention the word depreciation fund reserves and stuff, these are things we need to put money aside for at some point in time. So we have money to fix this stuff instead of having to go out and borrow money to get this stuff. We have to figure out a plan that we can put money aside. So all this stuff gets depreciated and it needs to be replaced and it needs to be repaired and it needs to be redone over a number of years. We can't go on with the same trucks forever and we don't want to have to buy, we have to go out and get all of new truck money if we can find a way to put money aside for things. And that's what a good business, and so associates in the towns.
Oh, definitely, yeah, we should have built-in planning and capital projects for that business.
Yeah.
I want to say, Frank, thank you, first of all, thank you for your men out at the highway department. They are the ones spending a lot of time in winter when things break down. I'm just glad that they're there and they can fix things rather than having to send these trucks away, which costs us a whole lot more. So it's very beneficial for his people to be able to fix a lot of problems.
It's like a new garage, really.
I know, we need that. Yeah. And we hope that Linda will plan to get something. Yes.
You guys are kind of the jack of all trades out there, so I want to thank you for helping with all the museum folks, because that
We always
was
come.
a task and a half. Everybody just kind of jumped in and did it.
They just do it, yeah.
Hung the little tarp thing for us, it was like no big deal.
Right, just because the town garage is older than I am, right?
It gets tough trying to wheel a creeper on the floor when there's full of holes, so.
Okay, Massena Electric Department, who would like to speak?
I'll
on
do
that?
the first one.